Just a quick reminder that we're running late with the show all this week, but we'll be back to our normal publishing schedule on Monday. This episode of Marijuana Today Daily is brought to you by CardMaxPayments.com, the trusted merchant processing broker that helps hard-to-place merchant industries find trustworthy, reliable payment processing services. CardMax Payments can help you do more of your financial transactions digitally if you have a legal adult use or medical marijuana dispensary, head shop, vape shop, or online CBD or hemp products store. Say goodbye to the burdens of doing all of your customers' transactions in cash by saying hello to CardMax Payments, which you can learn more about over at cardmaxpayments.com, which is spelled exactly like it sounds. That's cardmaxpayments.com. Good morning, Marijuana Nation. It's Wednesday, May 2nd, 2018, and you're tuned in to episode 481 of Marijuana Today Daily. I'm your host, Shay Gunther, and I'll be walking you through today's marijuana news and headlines. As always, we have a full and busy day of cannabis news in our hands, so let's jump right into it. Our top story this fine Wednesday is news that California Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein, a longtime marijuana prohibitionist, has officially changed her position to support the rights of states to experiment with cannabis legalization. Senator Feinstein gave an interview with McClatchy DC yesterday and explained her new marijuana point of view by saying, quote, "Federal law enforcement agents should not arrest Californians who are adhering to California law," unquote. Later adding that she thought it was important to have strong laws to prevent people from driving while high and to limit access to marijuana by kids. The 84-year-old senator is running for re-election this year, and some industry watchers question whether her sudden embrace of marijuana legalization has more to do with political motivations than an honest change of heart. Not a bad story to click over to for the full read. Some good news out of California as the High Times Cannabis Cup got word yesterday that it would be receiving the necessary permits needed to allow for the sale and consumption of adult use marijuana at this weekend's Cannabis Cup to be held in Sacramento. I reported on this story earlier this week as there was originally some question as to whether those permits would come through. Just last month, a Cannabis Cup that took place in San Bernardino, California, failed to secure permits allowing vendors to sell marijuana, leaving a lot of disappointed attendees. But thankfully, that's not the case this time around, as the Sacramento City Council voted yesterday to greenlight cannabis consumption and sales at the Cup. If you're planning on attending the Cup this weekend, have fun and be safe. Our final top story swings us out to Massachusetts, where the chairman of the Cannabis Control Commission said that he expects his state's legal adult use sales system to get off to a slow start. When asked about his thoughts on how things would look on July 1st, when adult use sales are expected to begin, Commission Chair Stephen Hoffman said yesterday, quote, "I think it's going to be sparse. Let's just be honest. There are going to be some number of people who are up and running that have all the municipal approvals necessary and have the ability to have supply. It's not going to be a large number. I really think it's going to play out over 6 to 12 months past July 1st, unquote. Click over to the story if you're particularly into Massachusetts state news. As always, we have all the news we cover linked to on our website at mjtodaydaily.com and on our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily. Those are our top stories for today. It's time for Marijuana Today Daily Headlines Blitz. Before we blitz out on headlines, let's quickly thank our sponsor, CardMax Payments, the trusted merchant processing broker that helps hard-to-place merchant industries find trustworthy, reliable payment processing services. CardMax Payments specializes in working with industries like legal marijuana and can help you do less of your business in all cash. You'll enjoy the benefits of greater transparency and traceability when you work with people like the pros at CardMax Payments. They have an extensive network of payment processing providers who they work with to craft retail solutions for you, their client. If you have a legal, medical, or adult use marijuana dispensary, head shop, vape shop, or online CBD or hemp products store, then CardMax Payments wants to talk to you about how they can help you handle less of your shop's transactions in all cash. Just swing over to cardmaxpayments.com for a free and quick quote on what it would look like to work with CardMax Payments. That's cardmaxpayments.com. And make sure to let them know that you heard about them here on Marijuana Today Daily. All right, time for the Blitz. Yesterday, the Missouri State House voted to approve a measure legalizing medical marijuana. The limited measure allows anyone 18 years or older living with a terminal illness to use non-smokable forms of cannabis and passed the House by a vote of 112 to 44. It now heads to the Republican-controlled state Senate for deliberation there. Bouncing out to Ohio, we have some news of some new controversy surrounding the process by which the state used to select the winners of medical marijuana business licenses last year. Ohio officials have issued 24 cultivation licenses so far and were almost immediately criticized and sued over how they did it in the closing months of last year. This latest kerfuffle involves inconsistencies between the original scores of some applicants and the reported scores that were used when deciding on winners. The Ohio Department of Commerce on Monday said that the errors did not affect the final licensing process. We'll keep an eye on this one. Yesterday, a District Court of Appeals judge ruled in favor of the Florida Department of Health in a case involving a medical marijuana patient who says he needs to cultivate his own plants at home to get enough cannabis to juice up, as recommended by his doctor. Medical marijuana patient Joseph Redner had been on the end of a winning ruling by a Florida county judge, which was overruled in yesterday's district court case. As it stands now, Mr. Redner is barred from growing his own marijuana, as are all Florida medical marijuana patients, as the court further reviews the earlier decision. This is another one we'll keep a watch on. Alaska's Department of Revenue reported that more than $1 million in taxes had been paid in the month of March by its legal marijuana industry. Alaska taxes its cannabis at the cultivator level at the rate of $800 per pound for flower and $240 per pound for trim. March's tax haul was paid in by 92 cultivators who sold a total of 1,106 pounds of flower and 852 pounds of trim. One of the more interesting stats is the fact that the number of cultivators paying into the system more than tripled over the last year. Alan Brockstein over at New Cannabis Ventures has a good story up looking at the deep dip in the stock price of publicly traded cannabis stocks on the Canadian markets. This is a numbers and detail-rich story best dove into in full. The short of it, though, is that the New Cannabis Ventures Canadian Cannabis LP Index is down 11.2% this month. As Michigan works to revamp its medical marijuana program with a more regulated system, it's begun accepting applications for cannabis business operating licenses and has found itself the recipient of some pretty major paper dumps, as various applicants have turned in veritable mountains of paperwork in order to fulfill all the requirements of applying. One applicant reportedly submitted enough paper to line the entire length of an 8-foot-long table. That's part of the reason why Michigan state officials say they've been slow to start issuing license. Andrew Brisboe, director of the Michigan Bureau of Medical Marijuana Regulation, says he expects his department to start releasing the first batch of license winners sometime within the next 6 weeks. And finally for today, Herb has a good story up looking at one of the people working to slow down the adoption of adult use legalization in the state of New Jersey. State Senator Ronald Rice is chair of the Legislative Black Caucus and officially in support of decriminalizing marijuana, but not in allowing its commercial sale or adult use. Most disconcertingly, it appears that State Senator Rice has a deeply flawed understanding of cannabis, as he's been quoted as saying, quote, "If you get too high, you die from it. It kills you directly if it's too potent," unquote. That's just not true at all. Here's to hoping someone can help out New Jersey State Senator Rice with some education about how cannabis actually affects people and more on the benefits of allowing its legal adult use and sale. Those are the headlines and news for the day. I'll be back with you again tomorrow morning with another information-packed episode of Marijuana Today Daily. But in the meantime, if you have any stories to share or feedback to give, zip us an email to headlines@mjtodaydaily.com. And while you're clicking around the interwebs, swing over to our Twitter account at MJ Today Daily and visit our website at mjtodaydaily.com to find links to all the news we cover. Thanks to our sponsor, CardMax Payments, and to all of our awesome patron listeners for the support that makes this show possible. To join the illustrious ranks of the patron listeners yourself, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com and click on that big blue button at the top of the page that says Become a Patron. I'm your host, Shay Gunther. Thanks for tuning in and starting your day with Marijuana Today.
One take, Shay. One take.